Hi everybody, it's Mrs. McGurkin. You guys are going to be working on the next genetics problem types today, and they're called incomplete and codominance problems. So you guys should have the genetics notes part 2 handout as you watch this video so you can fill in the information right on that handout. These handouts are going to go into your notebook. So when you're done filling this out, make sure that you get your handouts glued in so you can have easy access to this information. All right. So the two handouts, the one that says genetics notes part 2 comes first, and then the second one has codominance at the top. And then you also have one that has this set of smiley faces that will complete at the end for a little picture summary. So to get started, these problem types, incomplete and codominance, are what are called non-Mendelian problem types because they don't follow the other rules that we've talked about so far for genetics. So Gregor Mendel is the father of genetics, and he discovered a lot of these dominant and recessive traits that we've been talking about. But again, incomplete and codominance don't follow those rules, so they're called non-Mendelian traits. So for starters, incomplete dominance is a situation where one allele doesn't completely mask another. So what the result is actually kind of a blending of both. Okay, so this can happen in humans. Here's an example of it. So you can have two individuals that you guys will see here with wavy hair. And your outcome when you have the contributions of all those different genotypes, the outcome could be curly hair, wavy hair, or straight hair. So you can see that wavy is a combination of curly and straight hair. Okay, so again, that allele doesn't completely mask another one when it's shown in this individual that's heterozygous. Everything we've done so far, both this curly hair would have ended up in the homozygous dominant individual and heterozygous. But as you can see here, it's a little bit different with incomplete dominance. All right. Another example is in flowers. So these are snapdragons. They're a type of flower. So you can see here that when you have a red flower and you cross it with a white flower, you end up with pink. So again, you have a situation where you have a blending of both traits. Okay. So to do an actual problem with this, we are going to cross a red snapdragon with a white snapdragon. Okay, so for starters, what you need to know about this is to show the red flower color, we're going to use big R, big R. To show the white, we're going to use big R, little r. So the blended flower type with this is going to be big R, little r, which is pink, and that shows the mixture of those two traits of red and white. All right. So when you do the problem, it's really no different than any other genetics problem that you guys have done so far. You're going to be pulling the letters down and across to form the genotypes for those flowers. Okay, so you have big R, little r, all the way around. So when you cross the red flower with the white flower, the phenotype result is going to be a 100% chance of getting pink flowers, and the genotype again shows that big R, little r, which means pink. Okay, so as you can see, the problem type and how to do the genetics problem really isn't any different. What is different is you have 3 options now instead of just 2. So the other problem type that we're going to look at is called codominance. So this is a situation where one allele, again, doesn't completely mask another. So the result is an individual that's going to end up showing both traits. Okay, so a couple of examples of this. First of all, if we want to think about that flower example where we just looked at red plus white equals pink. Well, now in that situation, you would actually have red and white showing up at the same time. So it's not a blending anymore. Both traits show up. Okay. Or there's a situation with cows. You can cross a white bull with a brown cow, and the offspring would have both brown and white in their phenotype. This is also something that occurs with humans, and this is something that you guys have seen or heard of a lot in class. And this is the what sickle cell anemia actually looks like in red blood cells. So for someone that is a carrier of sickle cell anemia, they would have both normal blood cells and those sickle cells. So you can see both traits are showing up. So codominance in humans is an example of sickle cell anemia. Okay, so a problem type with this, again, if we think about the cows, if we want to cross a cow that is both rust colored and white with a white bull, we are going to be crossing one of these with one of these. Okay, so our traits again, the rust we would show with that big R, the white we would show with a little r, and that hybrid is going to be both of that rust and white showing up at the same time. Okay, so to set up your genetics problem, you're going to have the big R, little r for the rust and white. And then over here, you're going to have little r, and that's for your white bull. All right, so again, just like any other genetics problem that you guys have done, so we have big R, little r here, and it's the same down here, and then over here we have little r showing up, and again, it's the same down here. Okay, so the phenotype results that we have here, we have a 50-50 chance of getting rust and white together in our offspring, or just pure white. Genotype results, as you guys can see from the Punnett square, you have a 50% chance of big R, 50% chance of little r. All right, so again, just to kind of give you some more examples here, we have our smiley faces. So we're going to show incomplete dominance through these smiley faces. So we have a little equation that we're going to set up with our smileys in both situations. So if you had a smiley that we'll say has red hair, and we're going to cross that red-haired smiley with a blue-haired smiley, obviously something made up here. When in the case of incomplete dominance, when you cross those, you're going to end up with a purple-haired smiley, because remember, in incomplete dominance, the traits blend together. Okay, so let's say that we have that situation again. So we're going to take our red-haired, and we're going to cross it with a blue hair. But instead, what happens here with the outcome is we are going to have both red hair, and we're going to have blue hair showing up at the same time in that offspring. Okay, so that is incomplete and codominance. I hope that was helpful, and when I get back, we'll answer any questions that you guys have. All right, thanks. Good luck.